Welcome to another video from Dr. Lock. We did do a video on this particular unit, which is the SK183, and I did take you through and give you some examples and things of what I actually thought it was. Since that time I've found more information about it, and what I thought we'd do is we'd actually go over it one more time. This video will more or less give you the bells and whistles and allow you to know exactly what you can use it for. In the last video we were kind of guessing because there was no instruction manual. On this particular video here I have found more information about it and I pretty much know how to use it. So there's a few things that have been taken out of the equation, a bit of the guesswork. So this is your unit here. Why you would use this unit? You would use this unit when the car doesn't accept the programming of a new remote control. You would use this unit when you've got an aftermarket remote control, such as an alarm system or something along those lines, where you want to incorporate a 3-in-1 type of key like this, where you've got transponder, remote and flick key all in one, and you would want to be able to give that to your customer to use. So to do that, you got the transponder and you got the car key blade. That's one area of the puzzle. The next one is the remote control. Now if you're using aftermarket remote controls, or if the particular car has an extremely expensive remote control, this might be an option for you, because this unit here, as we saw in the last video, is coming in at $29 US plus post. So that's not bad. When we first looked at it, it was hard to evaluate exactly how it was working, because I guessed a little bit there because there was no instruction manual. Since that time I've been able to track down some instruction manual, and well, not really even a manual, just some photos. From that I can tell you how it works, and that's the most important thing. So you take the unit like this, okay, and let's assume that you've got your key and you've got your transponder working for the vehicle and you've got no problems on that side of the fence. The next thing is to get an actual remote control working. Now you want a remote control which does all the same features as it originally had. So let's take, for example, we have this Hyundai Type 1, and it's a 3-button one, and these remote controls are like $180 a piece or something crazy along those lines. What we can do with this unit is we can actually use this remote control. Now you do need one remote control, so if you don't have a remote control you're pretty much out of luck. Let's say the customer's giving you some beaten up plastic, sticky tape, worn out version of a remote control, and you need to then provide them a new solution. This particular box isn't expensive and it does give you a solution and can be wired up reasonably quick. I know it's a bit annoying having to add a box to a car, but once that box is added to the car you can add more and more remote controls, so that's where the benefit is. You can get it done reasonably quickly. Alright, so to do this properly, okay, first thing you need to do is remove your circuit board from the remote control. Second thing you need to do is you actually need to solder these buttons. Now each button here has a connection, so when I push this button, this little solder section right here and this little solder section right here get connected. So what we would need to do is go down for all 3 buttons, take the wire coming out from the relay, solder that on right there as you can see, move down to the second one, solder that across the connection, move down to the third one, solder that across the connection. Then what we would need to do is look at the back and see what voltage we're using. It's probably I think 3 volt. We come down to the side of this board right here, and if you can see it, hopefully you can, we've got 6 volt, 3 volt, 6 volt, 3 volt, 12 volt. So what we would do is we would take one of these cables which are included in with the kit, we'd do our negative and positive from the board right here, from the 3 volt, and then we would hardwire and solder from our negative, a negative here, to our board and our positive. So we would hardwire our negative and positive to the remote control, giving it power all the time, hardwire it to our circuit board, and then flip it over and hardwire our 3 buttons. Then we would probably cut the wires, make them all neat and tidy, and put this remote control on this padded section right here. You can also get creative and use a big lump of blue tack or some gaffer tape or anything along those lines and sink it in right there. That takes care of our wiring. Our wiring can accommodate a 4-button, so that's there. This is our antenna. We would want this to be able to be accessed, not accessed, but allow it to get good signal. Okay, they did say on the instructions that it could go up to 200 meters, so having a good cable's not a bad thing. From there, we've now wired up our original remote control to this device. It supplies power, and when operated, it connects the appropriate relay to the appropriate button. So this can work when you've got common area remote controls such as garage doors. It can work in a variety of places. You could take one remote control from a system and then you'd start introducing up to 20 of your own personal remote controls in that system as well. So if you've got a rolling code system where it's very hard and very expensive and very difficult to enroll remote controls, you can take one remote control and start to enroll this type of system and go up to 20. So that's a big sort of saving and bonus right there. So it can be used on different applications. You can use it on a car, but garage doors, gates, things like that all work on 12 volt. Access control systems sometimes work on 12 volt too. So for the price of $29, including 2 remotes, it's starting to look more and more like a usable product. Before I was guessing about a few things. Now I can actually clearly see what it can be used for and how you can use it, and I can say, yeah, it does have a place in the market, and at the price it is, I think it's going to solve a lot of problems where you can't get the original remote controls, or you can't program it in, or there's a sequence in programming and things along those lines. You can simply just take your remote control that you do have, bring it into this system, and then drop it into this frequency, and you can start doing that. Now this does run off 12 volt power. This is nothing fancy. It does have the OBD port once again, which is here, and this can be modified. If you're using a 12 volt access control system, I'm sure you can splice those wires and negative and positive it, and not a problem. So far we've got our remote control, which is wired up with power for which is doing the battery on the back of it. So now it's got power all the time. Now we've bridged over each and every button, which is 3 button, and we have a 3 button remote control. The next step is to program the remote control into the unit. Pushing the learn button, you can simply do that and go through it. It does have LEDs here, so I haven't powered it on, but I'm assuming it's a simple process of simply pushing it enough times to simulate which relay you're actually working, and then pushing the corresponding button on your remote control to say this one. So for example, I push it a couple of times, I'll get it to relay number 3, which will be light number 3, then I'll come down to button number 3 and I'll push that, and then that should activate that once it's out of programming mode. Once everything is installed, you should be able to sort of operate your car via this new system. That's as much as I've found out so far. As far as which remote controls these are and whether or not they're compatible with VVDI and Key DIY, I'm still yet to find out. I'd like to know, do you just program it up as a simple forward remote, or is this thing multi-frequencies? Will it accept a large amount of remote controls? That being said, can you just program in a very simple non-rolling code into a Key DIY or VVDI one? I don't know, but at this stage I have found out this configuration so far, so I can say that I could comfortably use this on a an access control, or I could use it on a gate. As far as using it on a car, I could with 2 remote controls there, but I would like to know more about the frequency and the configuration of the code, whether it's rolling or not in the remote control. When I do find that out, I will come back to it and I'll do a live power up on this device here. Somebody might know automatically and put it in the comments and save us a little bit of time. Once again, this is one of those things where I think the general locksmithing, we all work together to work these things out. When they do bring a new product out on the market, it's important to put it out there, show other people what you know, let them add what they know, and eventually you can, on a professional basis, be able to say, look, I can add this to a vehicle and it will allow me to give you 2 remote controls for this price. I mean, 2 remote controls at $29 plus the receiver, and all you've got to do is a little bit of wiring work, and the wiring work is here. You can take this to your bench. You can take this to your bench, solder in your power, solder in a couple of buttons, which are really nothing. They're just a circuit, a connection. 1, 2, 3, just a connection. No power, no fusing, no nothing. battery power on the back, what are we talking, 1.5 volts? It's nothing. And once again, this adapter right here, to find mains power on a vehicle, most people who are key programming and things like that can find mains power in a heartbeat, so it's not a problem. I don't like the idea of, see this, I don't like this. I would never plug this into a customer's car, this plastic sort of stuff. I don't find it good enough. But on saying that, I would put a fuse in, tap it into a main line, even throw it in the circuit board with one of those on top of fuses, where you get a little fuse and it goes on top of the circuit and it has its own fuse. You know, for an extra $1 or $2, I'd just plug that straight in the fuse box and tuck this behind the driver's footwell. And we are starting to program in remote controls on a system which will allow you to, saving you tokens, saving you time, saving you money, and allowing it all to work nice and easily. So I can see the benefits in this product right there. As far as what it comes with, as we said before, 2 little bits of figure 8, plug it in here, 2 remote, and a black box. So it's a very reasonable product, and I think by the look of it, there's going to be a fair few sold just because of the practicality of it. And it'd be good just to have one in your car in case of an emergency. In case of an emergency, you can't program up a particular remote control. You could wire one of these up in about 10 minutes, plug it into the mains power of the car, cut your key blade, put your transponder blade in it, and you could actually be presenting the customer with a flick key, remote control, activating the remote, all the rest, very, very quickly, compared to some of the other chicken dances and programs, tokens, and remote controls not working and things like that. So I can see the merit in this device, and we might actually import some of these. You can buy them, maybe Alibaba, eBay, and things like this. SK183, so that's the part number. And if it's interesting to you, or you've wired one up, or you've installed a few, please leave a comment down below, because we'd be really interested. I'm sure there's other locksmiths out there who are interested too, how good it went, if you had any problems with it, and things along those lines. If something I've said is wrong, please, this is a new product. Don't hate me for it, but leave a comment down below. If you've got some better advice, leave a comment down below, because me and other locksmiths, we do go through the comments, and it's good to know. It's the best way we can get actual information on this product. The information that was provided from the manufacturer, very, very limited. I got 6 photos to find out how this works. With my knowledge, I can do that, but on saying that, it really does help when people know more if they do comment. Okay, thanks for watching.